Hey guys, how's it going? On this episode of The Breakdown, I wanted to share with you a little project I've been working on with the Boy Scouts. So part of what I do with my job is trying to get kids excited about being in the outdoors and help them have a really good experience while they're there. So I'm putting together this little project to help parents and kids put together their own packs so that they can be ready for just a great outdoor camping experience. So today I want to share with you 10 things that you can use to put together a starter pack, whether it's for yourself or for your kids, whatever. So let's get started. Alright, number one is going to be a great pocket knife. Obviously, this is one of the most useful tools you can ever have in the outdoors, whether you're lost or whether you're just out having a good time. So if you want to get a good pocket knife, you can probably find something anywhere from $10 to $50. Not too expensive. If you want to get a multi-tool, that's another really great thing because it'll have lots of different functions. But make sure when you get a good pocket knife that it's going to be safe, first of all, that it has some sort of locking mechanism on the blade. That way it's not going to shut on your hand. Make sure that you keep it sharp. A sharp blade is actually a lot safer than a dull one. If the blade is sharp, you don't have to put as much pressure to get it to cut and function properly, which means there's less chance of you cutting yourself. If you'd rather go for a multi-tool, you can find a good cheap multi-tool in a lot of different places. This will have a lot of different tools and functions that come with it. So in the event that you do get in an emergency or you're lost, you know, this is a great thing. Put it on your belt, put it in your pack. But that's number one. Make sure you have a good knife. Alright, number two is going to be a good first aid kit. Now, when you're putting together a first aid kit, don't feel like you need to go to the store and break the bank and buy something big and bulky. This is what I carry with me on most of my trips. And granted, it's a lot bigger than what I would normally take if I'm out with my buddies, but when I'm out with the scout troop, I'm going to have more stuff in here because I have to plan for more situations. But the most important thing when you're putting together your first aid kit, make a list of things that you feel comfortable with. Don't put anything in your first aid kit that you don't know how to use. And the reason why is that can be very overwhelming, especially in an emergency situation when you're looking and spreading out all of this equipment and gauze and packaging and all these different things that you don't know how to use. The next thing you do is you panic, or maybe you just can't think clearly. So do something that you feel comfortable with. Always throw in like a Band-Aid, maybe some Tylenol or pain reliever, bandages, you know, something like that, a bandana. But again, you can make it very basic but very efficient. And again, thinking about kids, most of the time it's going to be something like a knife cut, a scrape, you know, something like that. So in your first aid kit, make sure it's something easy that you feel comfortable with. Don't feel like you have to take the whole hospital with you. That's number two. Alright, number three is going to be rain gear or just some extra clothing. Now again, if I'm going on a long trip, it's really nice to be able to put a fresh change of clothes on every single day, but it's not super practical. With your kids, make sure first of all that you know what kind of environment they're going into. If it's cold, make sure you pack something warm. If it's wet, make sure you get them a nice rain jacket. You know, a lot of these are super lightweight. This one actually folds up into itself into one of the pockets, so it's not going to take up a lot of space. It's very good about being breathable when you need it to, or you can shut the vents and it will help keep your body temperature where it needs to be, keep you warm. Something I can throw on at night that's going to be comfortable to sleep in if I had to. So again, make sure that they have something good quality. For this, if you're going to get something and you really want to find something good quality and spend the bank on, it might be a good idea to get them just a good all-around multi-purpose, you know, jacket or some kind of layer that they can wear on the outside that'll keep them dry, or wear in their sleeping bag to keep them warm. But just make sure that they have extra clothes, and also remember that clothes also do tend to weigh a lot. But just make sure that they're comfortable, even if you just take an extra pair of socks to put on once you get into camp or to sleep in, and then put back on your other socks when you're hiking, just to give yourself something to feel a little fresh and clean. But again, next thing, make sure you have some extra clothes. Alright, number four is going to be food. Now this is obviously tough if you're talking about kids, but whether it's for you or for them, make sure that you pack something that's going to give you plenty of energy depending on the activity that you're doing. You can run to the store and you can get these freeze-dried meals, ultra lightweight, packed with carbs and calories and everything you need to keep your energy up if you're on a long hiking trip. The great thing about this is it only needs boiling water. Let it sit for about 15 minutes and you've got yourself a really great, delicious meal. You can find these from anywhere $5 to $10. You can get them at Walmart. They're really easy to find. But the other thing is make sure you have good snacks. You know, it's really a spirit booster if you want to have some candy, you know, maybe a candy bar, hard candy too. I know that when I've been out hiking, it's really refreshing to suck on a Lifesaver. And it's also going to help you feel like you don't need quite as much water because you're just, you know, have something to suck on. It's keeping your saliva and your juices flowing, which is really great. You know, try and stay away from anything that's going to make you really sluggish or super unhealthy, but just find good snacks, whether it's trail mix, fruit bars, granola bars, whatever it is. But make sure you have plenty of food, plenty of snacks. And again, remember that food can be very heavy inside your pack, so look for different options that are going to be lightweight, but still give you the energy and calories and nutrients and everything else that you need while you're out on your trip. Alright, next one is water. Now obviously, again, water's going to weigh a lot, but if you've got kids who are out hiking and playing and running around, they're going to need a lot of water. So make sure you know and plan beforehand where you're going to go, and that can help dictate how much of this you're going to have to take with you. A lot of places that you go, it may be more convenient to take a hydration pack and actually put it in your pack with the tube that you could suck on as you hike. Maybe all you need for a day hike is a good bottle of water, but make sure you have a way to fill it up again. You don't want to be running out. A good rule to remember is somewhere around 2 liters per person per day. More if it's going to be a really hot climate or if you're going a really long, strenuous hike. So make sure you have plenty of water. If you're going to go on a long distance but you know there will be water out where you're at, take a filter, take some iodine tablets, something to purify it. They make plenty of inline filters now as well, so that you can just fill up water from the stream, and as you're sucking it through the hose or drinking it from your bottle, it's filtering itself for you, which is great. But that's the next thing. Make sure that you have something to carry water in. Don't feel like you have to buy something super expensive either. Any good bottle will do. But make sure it's something durable, especially with kids, because they tend to put things too close to the fire and they melt, or maybe they get squished or get a hole in it. So, alright, let's go to number 6. Next thing is going to be a flashlight. So this is something that you really don't have to spend a lot of money on, but do make sure that you buy something that's going to last. I know that you can get a really cheap flashlight for a couple bucks, but you have to remember, is this something that is really going to save my life? Because if you get stuck outside and you don't have a light, it can be a really long and lonely night. So just get a good flashlight. Get one at the convenience store, something with an LED. It really brightens up the night, makes it a lot easier for you. Also a good headlamp. Those are going to be a little bit more expensive, but the great thing about having a headlamp is you can totally use your hands while you have the light, so that's really helpful as well. But you'd be incredibly surprised how comforting it is to have a flashlight or some sort of light source while you're working or walking around at night versus not having it at all. It can be pretty overwhelming, especially for kids. So make sure you get them a good light, and don't forget to pack some extra batteries as well, just in case the batteries do run out. Okay, next thing. Let's talk about a whistle or a mirror. What's the purpose of having a whistle or a mirror? It's mostly in case you get lost, you have to use a signaling device. Now this is going to be really cheap. You can get something that's multifunctional, just like this. So just a whistle that you can actually unscrew. It keeps some matches in there. It's a watertight case, which is great. So I have something for a fire source. Has a great lanyard around it. And I've got my signaling whistle, just in case I was to ever get lost. Small, lightweight, tuck it inside a pocket. Probably will never need it, but in the event that you do, you have it with you and you're ready to go. Something like a mirror, you probably already have 1.5 million old CDs laying around the house. So easy. It doesn't matter if it gets a little scratched or if it's old. In the event that you were lost and you need to reflect this off the sun, it's totally going to be the perfect signaling device. Toss that in your pack as well. Really lightweight. Another thing you could consider is a brightly colored bandana. Maybe an old piece of cloth, something orange or red or bright that's really going to show up against the scenery that you're in. So if you're out in a green forest, something bright orange, that can really help signal somebody in case of an emergency. If you're out in the desert, especially here in southern Utah, maybe you want to consider something else, something blue or yellow that will stick out against the red sand. So just something to keep you safe in the event you have an emergency. All right, next thing, so playing off the whole matches inside our waterproof case, make sure you have some source of fire starter with you. Now, again, matches are great, but realize if that box gets wet, sometimes that won't work. It makes it really difficult to strike. Matches, when they get wet, can be almost useless as well. You can always try something like a good fire starter, something that'll make a spark for you. That's always great. Again, make sure you feel comfortable with it. Don't take stuff out that you're not comfortable using. I mean, if you want to go out and try it out and develop your skills, that's great, but make sure you have something reliable as a backup just in case you can't get something going. I know I've seen a lot of kids trying to get really comfortable using flint and steel, and they don't have anything as a backup, so they end up not being able to start their fire at night. If you really want to go for something safe, surefire, that's lightweight, easy to use, just throw a lighter in the backpack. Just a cheap, easy Bic lighter. Again, maybe put it inside a baggie that'll keep it dry, but in an emergency, having a lighter like that has fuel to it that you can just quickly light up and spark is great. Start a fire, keep you safe, and keep you comforted. So again, not something that you have to break the bank on here. You can find something cheap and easy. Just make sure it works and make sure you have some sort of backup plan in case you want to be a little adventurous in your fire making skills. All right, guys, almost there. So number 9, make sure you have a map or some sort of information about the area that you're going. Make sure you do the time before you go to learn about the area so you don't have any surprises. It's going to make your trip a lot more enjoyable, and in the event that there is an emergency, you'll be better prepared, which is great. But also, if you were to get lost, having that map, having a way to kind of judge where you are and evaluate your situation can save your life. It's also going to be a lot more comforting. Now with that, make sure you know how to use it. Again, do your homework before you go. Look at the area that you're going to be, find some landmarks. Always make sure you tell someone where you're going. Put some different time frames together to say, if you haven't heard from me in this day, maybe something's wrong, or I'm going to check in at this time. But make sure you have a map and make sure you know how to use it. It could save your life. All right, and the last thing, number 10, is make sure that you have a compass. I know, no one uses a compass anymore. Well, this thing is tried and true. It's been around for centuries, and again, this is what's going to get you out in the event that you're lost. It's a really fun skill to learn. I know that there's a lot of kids that maybe don't really see the value in a compass. They would prefer to use a GPS or to use their phone. But if you're out in the outdoors and you lose that electronic, if it breaks, if it runs out of batteries, this little baby is what's going to get you found. Also learn some other orienteering skills. Learn how to find the North Star. Learn some different ways that you can evaluate what direction is which. Know what side of the earth the sun comes up on. Learn all of these different things because, again, that's going to help you feel comfortable and confident if you get lost. It's these little things like that that can save your life, that can keep your emotions positive, help you keep your head and your wits about you. Again, this is a skill that I really enjoy teaching in the Boy Scouts because it's tried and true, and it's something that these kids need to know how to do, know how to use. So anyway, that's all 10. I hope that was helpful for you guys. If I missed anything, please comment below and let me know. Again, this is a cool project that I've been working on. Want to make sure that I didn't miss anything before we send it out with the kids. But thank you guys so much for watching. We always appreciate when you guys subscribe. And as always, we'll see you on the trail. Have fun, guys.